Your alternative talk radio contact. The Planet. KGRAradio.com.
With infinite complacency, people went to and fro over the earth about their little affairs, serene in the assurance of their dominion over this small, spinning fragment of solar driftwood, which by chance or design, man has inherited out of the dark mystery of time and space.
Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Into the Fray. Before we get to tonight's guest, this is just a friendly reminder that my first show as a guest host on Midnight in the Desert is this coming Friday, October 5th. You can listen for free from 9 p.m. till midnight Pacific Standard Time. Just go to midnightinthedesert.com for more information and, of course, to listen to me live. All right, so I purposely didn't ask you what season, what episode of Monsters Among Us because I like to be surprised, although I have listened to most all of Derek's show, so I'm sure that I have heard your story, and, you know, maybe once you start telling it, I'll remember. Regardless, like you said, we'll get more detail, but do you know what season and what episode it was so that I can link it? If not, it's fine, I'll find out. But
it was season 4, episode 17. Pretty sure that's one.
Awesome. Yeah, that's perfect because I just want to make sure that everybody knows that they can go back and listen to you on Monsters Among Us. Like you said, that's when your story came out first. So awesome, thank you. Season 4, episode 17. Okay, I will link that in the show notes for everybody. All right, Nick. Well, yeah, take it away. I'll interrupt you as needed, but I'll try to just be quiet as much as I can and just let you tell it.
Okay. So, it happened a good 15, maybe even 20 years. This was back right after high school on spring break. It actually happened in Florida. Go figure. Seems like all the crazy stuff Florida.
It had to be a Florida story, right? I know that Mark Muncy is Florida. Just like rolling his eyes right now. He's like, no. He writes a couple of books like Eerie Florida and Freaky Florida, and it's always like a running joke, like, oh, all the weird crap happens in Florida, right?
Yeah, and I listen for like a lot of true crime stuff. And same thing. I mean, you can look up crimes in Florida, and it's just out there.
Yeah, it's
really
a wacky, wonderful place.
Oh yeah. So, me and 2 friends, we were living in Indiana. We wanted to go on spring break down to Panama City Beach, but we actually ended up we didn't have a whole lot of money, so the hotel we got was really bad. It was like maybe 3 miles inland, really bad area. 3 miles in from the beach. I mean, something like that. So we were all like right out of high school. So we were probably about 19, maybe 20 years old. Well, the first night we're there, this random guy, and he's about the same age as us. He knocks on the door. And he's just like, hey, you guys want to hang out, want to party, whatever? And we're young, so we don't, spring break, don't really think anything. I'll go, yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
So the first night, everybody's sitting around, and I can't remember if we're playing cards or what we were doing. But it's so weird. Out of nowhere, and I was close to him. I remember I was within like shaking hand distance of this guy. He looks at me, and his face just changed. Like everything about it. His bone structure shifted. His hairline receded. His hair color changed. The guy's face changed right in front of me. And I don't know if it happened, might have been 3, 5, 10 seconds. But I mean, it's just kind of like, and he's looking at me, and he's got this almost like a smirk. And I remember thinking, like, act like you don't see it. And I watched it happen and turned around and just kind of walked away. Well, the weird thing is, we hung out with this guy the rest of the week, and what he changed into is what he looked like the rest of the week.
Oh.
And like, just from the get-go, just from the second he knocked on the door, there was something off about him. Like, he had almost like an aura, is kind of like the best word to describe it, where he just like drew you in. It was like the guy knew something you didn't. Like meeting, I don't know, almost like if you were to watch one of these, like Chris Angel or somebody, and then actually meet him, it's almost like, all right, what's your secret? Something like that. Like, there was just something about him.
Mm-hmm.
So I walk away, and I don't put too much stock into it. I mean, I'm like, okay, what did I just see? But everything kind of crashed the next day. We went to the beach. I'm sitting on the beach, and one of the girls that was down there with us, she comes up to me, and she sits down, and she just looks at me. And the guy's name was Robert. She sits down, and she looks at me, and she just says, Robert told me he made his face change for you too.
Mm.
And I don't know. I got up and just walked away. I don't know what to say. Two of the girls we went down there with, I didn't really talk to too much after we got back. But the guy that I went down there with, I've been friends with him ever since. I don't really talk to him much anymore. He lives in Indiana still, but I talked to him about it, and he didn't see anything. He didn't notice anything. He told me, he said that he just noticed that something was weird about the guy. Well, the girl I actually got in contact with not too long ago, because it was weighing on my mind. I mean, I've looked into this and tried to look up maybe other similar experiences, and I haven't found anything. But contacted her, and I asked her, hey, you remember Robert from spring break? And she just texted back and was like, why?
Mm.
And I said, remember anything strange about him? And she's like, you can't be serious right now. And I told her, did you remember telling me his face changed? And she said, I've never told anybody about that. That messed with me for years. And I was like, no, you told me. And so she asked me for my number and ended up calling me. And because we were talking over Facebook. So she calls me, and she was like, well, what all do you remember? And I told her basically the same story I just told you. And she said that he did it for her multiple times throughout the week, where he would look at her and his face would change. But she also said that he would talk to her in her mind.
Mm.
So I was like, okay, I don't remember. I don't think that ever happened to me. But she's real freaked out about it. She said she didn't talk about it for years because it messed with her so bad. And I mean, we were kids on spring break the whole week. We were taking pictures, and most of the week, guy was hanging out with us. I don't have any pictures of this guy. And she said she kind of had the same idea. She's like, yeah, I purposely got him in a picture because I wanted to have his picture. And she said that she has all the pictures from that week, but somehow that picture never came up. She don't have it. She don't know what happened to it. But yeah, I mean, I looked into it, thought about the guy. To this day, I can't remember what he looks like. Not before or after he did that. And I have no idea. Like I talked to my old man about this stuff because he loves the paranormal and cryptids and all that. And I told him about it, and he said, maybe you guys met an illusionist. And I was like, no. I was like, you see Chris Angel and David Blaine and these guys, they get paid lots of money, and I've never seen them change their face in front of people.
Right. That would be one of the best tricks on the planet.
Yeah. And think some 19-year-olds run around doing it for free.
Right. So he was about the same age as you guys, right? Or at least you got the impression that he was?
Yeah. Yeah. He's a young guy.
So, wow. So you and this gal are the only ones that physically could say, oh, yes, his face was this way before, and now it's this way after. Your friends just noticed he was just kind of odd.
Yeah, and she talked to her girlfriend, the other person that was down there, and she said the same thing, that she knew something was off about him, but they never saw anything like that. He also told her that, I forget what it was. It was either cigarettes or drinking or something. He said, if you quit doing this, or if you keep doing this, it's going to take 10 years off of your life. And he told her, he's like, I can't believe you never met anybody else like me. I don't know what that means, but
yeah, that's a random thing to say, isn't it?
Yeah, and he would say weird things like that throughout the week. Like I remember him asking me one time, like he looked at me and he's like, hey, do you remember when vampires existed? I looked at him and I was like, what? No, like, what do you? And he's like, well, what would you do if you ever met one? Like,
oh,
I have no idea. But just weird. Yeah, I mean, there's just not a whole lot I can put on it because it's so damn strange. I mean, I've never, and like I said, when I try to look it up, I just come up dead, find nothing.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard anything quite like that before. And honestly, I don't know that I remember this phone call from Monsters Among Us. Maybe it was one that I missed. So this is a complete
and it was
surprise
funny because I'm sorry, what?
Oh, I was just saying I don't remember this phone call from Monsters Among Us, but that's a good thing because I'm kind of sitting here completely just surprised by the story. So no, go ahead.
What's his name that does it?
Derek.
Monsters Among Us.
Derek Hayes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, like I mean, even after the call, because he always says his spiel afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
He said something like, every once in a while a call comes in that's just so strange. I have no explanation. He's like, this is one of them. He's like, I got nothing. And,
yes, I agree with him.
And I would have put it off myself. I mean, I even though he looked the same, like I remember waking up next morning and I'm like, oh, he looks the same. Like that's what he turned into. But I would have put it off as, I don't know, I had a minor seizure, something misfired in my brain, anything. But when she came up to me and said that on the beach, I don't know. I was blown away. I couldn't believe it.
So he changed for you just the once, right? And then he stayed like that for you the whole time, but he changed for her multiple times.
That's what she said. And she said that, she asked me, she's like, do you think he was good or bad, like an angel or a demon? I was like, I don't know. I didn't get that impression. I said, I got the impression that he was something that we just don't know about. Because she said that when he would do it for her, she said it was almost like his face would turn beautiful and then hideous. And she said that he did it several times in front of her throughout the week. And she was like, it was almost like he was just messing with me.
So your friends, your other friends, he was just odd. They never said anything about him looking different at all. It was just, he was just the odd guy.
They said he was odd, but what's weird is my friend, the one that still lives in, well, they all live in Indiana, but my buddy that I took down there with us, he said, because when I told him the story, he told me, he's like, well, he was like, the next day after that first night, he told me that that he could almost tell like something was different, but he said he couldn't tell anything. He said, yeah, he goes, I don't know. It's almost like he was different somehow, but he's like, no, he looked the same, I think.
What about his mannerisms? I'm sorry, no, finish your thought before you get to my question.
We all knew that something was just off about him. Like, it was, I remember even when he fell asleep, I went through his things, and he had a notebook. All he didn't have a wallet, no form of identification, anything. He had a tiny little black notebook with nothing but names in it. Just names.
Names, no numbers, no addresses, nothing?
No numbers, no nothing, just names.
That is strange.
His clothes didn't have none of his clothes had any brands on them.
What about his shoes?
I don't think so. I don't remember looking at his shoes. But I remember his clothes didn't have any tags or anything like that. No, like, brands, not even like a...
What else was in his bag besides the notebook?
Nothing. He didn't have a bag. His notebook was in the back pocket.
Oh.
Of his jeans.
But he's down there on spring break with you guys, and he's hanging for most of the week, you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did he wear the same clothes the whole time?
Yep.
From
what I remember, he did.
I mean, did he...
was,
I mean, this is kind of an odd question, but if we're assuming he's not human, which obviously somehow he's not, did he develop some kind of a body odor? I mean, didn't he start to smell sitting in the sun, and it's Florida and humid and...
Not that I noticed. No, I don't think he had a weird smell to him. It's just so... For some reason, I've thought, like, all these years, I have this level of certainty that if I were to see this guy again, he wouldn't have aged a day. It's almost like I can just feel that. Like, I don't know.
Would you want to see him again?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I would want answers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would confront him about it and ask him. But at the same time, if I saw him, I probably wouldn't even know it was him. I can't remember what the guy looks like. If I saw a picture, I'm sure everything would come flooding back. Maybe it'd either be like that, or I just wouldn't recognize him at all.
I mean, were you frightened by him at all during this week? I mean, once you saw his face change, you didn't go, okay, well, I'm not sitting here with a person, per se.
Not really.
But that might go back to the whole aura thing, right? Like maybe he was just keeping you calm somehow?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. There was something about him. I mean, you could be in a room with 20 people talking, and this guy could say something, and all of your attention is going to shoot straight to him, and he's going to have you with every word. That's how he was. Like
all 20 of the people in the room would be basically in awe of him.
Or maybe not all 20, but whoever he wants to hear him.
Interesting.
It's gonna go. That's how it's gonna go. Because like even the girl said, she's like, she said, me and so and so, we were attracted to him right off the bat. She's like, it's weird, not in like a sexual way, but just we were just hanging on every single thing he said. Like,
did you and the girl compare notes as far as? I know that you don't remember now, but did you remember at that time what his face looked like before and then after? And did you compare notes as far as, did he ever look the same to her that he looked to you?
I don't think so. When I told her, because that's the only thing I can remember is everything changed. I mean, it was like watching, like these new Marvel movies when the guy turns into the Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it looked like at first. I mean, or like watching like a werewolf movie or something, like his bone structure shifted. Everything changed. His hair, I remember his hair was longer and lighter. I remember it getting shorter and like actually like receding. His hairline actually like receded up and his hair color got darker. And I think his eyes changed color. I don't know. I mean, I was sitting there when I was looking at it, I couldn't look away. Because it's so weird because I was just thinking like, I don't know, like, am I seeing this? Or maybe it's a trick of the eye or something. Maybe he's doing something. But then after he changed, it stayed like that. So when I told her, I mean, that's the only description I had to give her. And, she didn't say if that sounded familiar or not. She just mentioned that he did it to her multiple times.
So when he's changing, you said he was looking straight at you, like he was looking in your eyes while he's changing.
Look at me. It was like if you're sitting there playing cards with 4 people and everybody's doing their own thing, talking here, there, doing whatever, and then someone asks you like, "Oh, hey, what'd you do last night?" And you look at them and you answer the question, and that's like a little thing that you guys have while everybody else might still be doing their own thing and talking about themselves. That's kind of like how I remember it being. And it was it might have been quick, it might not have been quick, but I think in all reality, it probably happened over maybe 3 to 5 seconds. Because, he was looking at me with a weird, not a grin, but just kind of like a weird, like he knew what he was doing to me. Like he knew what he was doing. And I got up and walked in the bathroom, kind of like tried to compose myself a little bit. And then got up and walked back in the room and kind of walked outside, tried to compose myself a little bit more. And then went back and sat down, and like it's almost like when I sat down, that's what he looked like. And I kind of thought, okay, well, that happened. And now just act like it didn't.
I mean, were you kind of waiting for your friend? Yeah, were you waiting for your friends to notice that he looks different?
Yes and no. I mean, I didn't at the time. I don't really remember looking at everybody else and like being like, I didn't want to let on. For some reason, I kept thinking like, don't let him know that you saw it. But none of my friends seemed to be changed or notice anything. So I didn't want to freak them out and escalate the situation. Or I mean, this was the first night this guy walked in. And I don't want to have him pull out a weapon or something.
Yeah, because, I mean, of course, with the grin that he gave you, I think that there was no doubt that he knew that you saw, right? Like you said, if he wants people's attention, he'll get it. And he knows who he wants to get and when he wants to get them. So it sounds like there is no doubt that he knows you saw.
Yeah. I think maybe, I don't know. I think, because I've always been the type to not really back down from anything, but I try to avoid it just the same. And I mean, now I'm older, military experience, I carry a gun, but back then I always carried a knife. I always had a knife on me. Maybe he sensed that don't push this guy too far because he might do something. Because my friend said that he messed with her all week.
What do you mean by messed with?
Like he made his face change like for her several times. He would tell her what she said, that he could talk to her without talking. She said he could talk to her in her head, but not only that, that she would be thinking something, and he'd look at her and tell her what she was thinking.
Oh, man. Can you elaborate at all? Did she tell you what kinds of things he was saying to her?
No, she didn't tell me. I kind of get the impression that she didn't want to talk about it, because when I was texting her online or whatever, she even said, like, I don't want to talk about this anymore, because she said it messed with her for years. Well, then I think she might have came around a little bit. And then she was like, what's your number? I'm going to call you. I could tell it was bothering her talking about it. So I didn't like push too much.
Yeah.
But she just said that he knew what she was thinking, and he could talk to her in her head.
Did you ever learn his last name, or you just all knew him as Robert?
No, I don't think he ever gave a last name.
So if you guys are out, you're 19 to 20 years old, do you guys have fake IDs and you're drinking and stuff? Or is somebody getting you beer? Like, did anyone see him pull out an ID of any sort?
No, we had beer. I bought it. Or somebody else probably bought it. I don't know.
Right.
It's spring break. I don't think too many people care.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, that's the norm, right? Yeah, I was just wondering if at any point, Robert's being like, oh, I'll get the beer this time. But it seems like
no,
he didn't have a wallet
nope.
or any possession, so he didn't offer to buy anything at any point, or...
Nope. I mean, if he bought something, I wasn't around. And if he had a wallet, I don't know where it was.
What about his mannerisms? Was he socially awkward at all, or did you notice anything weird about just the everyday things that we do as people?
No, he was actually very polite, extremely, almost too intelligent for his age.
Really?
Like some of the things he said would just make you stop and look at him and think, "What? How the hell do you know that?" Like, I can't even think of anything specific, but I just remember him, and even my friend elaborated on the same thing. She's like, I remember him being very smart.
You mean like he was extremely educated, or like he's been around for a long time, or just from another time?
Like he's been around for a long time.
Mm.
That's the impression that I kept getting. And it's so weird because I kept thinking that, like, this guy's older, like way, way older. Like, see these movies, and that's almost like exactly what it reminded me of, like a vampire.
Yeah.
Like, don't age, and all that good stuff. And that's the impression I got. And that's reiterating on what I said earlier. It really, like, if I saw him right now and I knew who he was, and I recognized him, he hadn't aged a day, I probably wouldn't be surprised. I'd probably just look at him and ask him, all right, what are you?
All right, everybody's going to get they're going to laugh at me for this next joke, but because of what you said, I have to ask it. And now they're going to send me the Forks Washington Twilight series jokes and the sparkly vampires, but did he eat or drink anything?
Wow. That is really strange. I'd never thought about that, but now that you mention it, I do not remember him saying... I don't remember seeing him eat or drink anything.
No kidding.
I swear. And I
boy.
have never thought about that until you just... That's a really good point. No, I don't remember him. Nope. I'll have to see if I can't get a hold of my friend and ask her that, because
that would be cool if you could, because that's slightly odd if you're around a guy for an entire week, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember seeing him eat or drink anything. Yeah, and she asked me, she's like, why? Because I told her, I actually told her about calling in the Derricks, and she asked, well, what's the podcast? I want to listen to it. And I told her about getting in touch with you, and she was just like, well, when, like, why are you doing this? And I was just like, I want answers. I was like, maybe somebody out there has seen the same thing or has a similar experience. I said, I don't know, but I said, I can't find anything close to it online, any similar experiences, no theories, no nothing. So maybe if I talk and get it online and maybe someone will hear it. And I was like, I don't know.
No, and that's why I'm glad that you got a hold of me. I really appreciate you doing that because you never know. As I've said many times, you throw the line out and you see what comes back, right?
Right.
What about how he got there and how he left?
How he left, I don't really remember. I remember just us leaving and going home. When we left, I don't think he was there the day we left. I think he kind of just was gone.
Mm-hmm.
How he got there, he just knocked on the door. We weren't there, but
of the crappy hotel room, right?
Of the most horrible hotel room in Panama.
The Roach Motel at Panama City.
Yeah, he just knocked on the door.
Why do you think he knocked on you guys' door?
I have no idea. I don't even know how he knew. It's not like, we had a party going. There was only 4 of us, including myself, and he just knocked on the door.
Now, these girls, that initial night, there's 4 of you. Is this girl that also had him change for her, was she in that room at the time, or it was just the guys at first?
No, she was there.
Okay.
It was only one room. If you weren't in that room, you were in the bathroom.
Okay.
It was just a really small room. I think it had 2 queen-size beds, maybe.
Did she see him change that first night as well?
I'm assuming that she did because of the next day, what she said to me.
Yeah, right.
Say he made his face change for you too. So I'm assuming that maybe the same thing. I don't think that she saw it at the same time I did, because I think she would have let on. I think maybe he did it some other time, or maybe he did the same thing to her, to where she just kind of took it and didn't freak out over it.
So, crappy hotel room, probably a couple king or queen size beds. There's 4 of you, and now there's 5 because Robert shows up. Does he sleep on the couch? Does he sleep on the floor?
Floor, I think the floor, and then I'm pretty sure there was a crappy couch over by the TV. So it was either the floor or the couch, I want to say. I can't remember. Like, it's so weird because that whole week it's like that one night stands out to me. And then sitting at the beach, because I never thought that somebody could just destroy your entire mood while you're sitting at the beach, but that did it. But it's just not. It's almost like it was all like a dream. Can't remember too much of it, but I'm sure I remembered a lot more at the week or 2 after it happened.
Right. Once you have time to process it a little bit, right?
Yeah, I've been through the ringer since then. So
when you were going through his stuff, which bravo, by the way. I mean, just trying to find out, who is this guy? Where is he from? What's his deal? Do you think he was actually asleep?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't care. I mean, I don't know. He might have been laying over in the corner watching me. I have no idea.
But he always slept on the floor?
Either the floor or the couch. And I think some nights he might not even have been there.
Oh, so he didn't sleep in the room every single night that you guys were there?
I don't think so. I know a lot of times he did. And some nights I don't think he did. I can't really remember.
And I know some of these questions seem so mundane, but I'm trying to just, get out as much as I can because I find this person fascinating, which I'm sure you do too. Did he ever offer to pay for a round of drinks or a tab for lunch or anything?
Nope. Not that I can remember.
I mean, I know that as far as you know, he didn't even have a wallet, but I was just wondering if he was like, oh, I have this. I got it. You guys go ahead and, whatever.
Yep.
So the notebook with the names, how many names were in the notebook?
A lot.
A lot, like 100 or?
Like those tiny little notebooks that you could actually keep in your front pocket of your shirt. Really little. It was almost full, every single page.
Did you notice
There were hundreds.
There were hundreds of them.
Hundreds.
Did you notice, are these, was it like John Smith, or was it a name that you maybe couldn't read, or maybe a French last name or something like that? Do you remember having the impression of what kind of names these were?
I don't remember if they were all American names or like you said, like, something French or Italian or whatever. I don't really remember, being young, and I probably wasn't even looking for it, but probably didn't even think of that.
No, that's okay.
I just know that they were
a long time ago.
Just names. I don't even remember looking at a specific name. I just remember flipping through it thinking, what the hell? Like,
right.
Really?
Right. How was his handwriting?
And I think I was trying to be quick too. I remember that.
Well, yeah, right. True. Because you're going through his pockets, literally. Of course, so he had the same clothes on, right, the whole time? Did he take the jeans off and sleep in his boxers then? So then you were able to go over to the jeans and... Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. I'm sorry. That's why I'm asking all these like crazy tiny little questions. I haven't heard anything like this either. So it's really fascinating.
It's just something that's, I've thought about it off and on ever since it happened.
If you saw him and you're like, that's the guy, there's Robert, have you thought about the first thing that you'd say to him?
I'd probably say, you remember me? And he would probably say, yes, I remember you. Like, I can almost picture meeting him and him being the same age and almost the things you'd say. Like if I just asked, I can almost picture, like, if I asked him, like, what are you? I can see him toying with you. What do you mean? Or, like, you made your face change for me. Well, what do you mean? What did it look like? Like, I can see him doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, he'd be like, well, what does it look like to you now? Right? He'd have some smart
like
answer.
I don't know. This guy had a way of just, I don't know, the illusionist aspect of the my dad's theory. It actually kind of has some validity to it, just because of the way the guy was and how he could get in your head. But making your whole face change, I just don't think that's an illusionist. And if he was, then kudos to him, because he's better than anybody else out there.
He should be here in Vegas, just milking the crowds and be at the MGM Grand making millions of dollars. Yeah, because as you're talking, kind of early on, I was just jotting down alien, shapeshifter, dimensional being, and then the whole vampire thing I didn't even think about until you mentioned that he brought it up. I mean, why would he bring that up?
And that's one thing that my buddy does remember, is him saying that, because he even says, anytime I mention Robert around him, that's the first thing he says. Remember that time you brought up vampires? I'm like, yeah, I remember. Like,
so what else do your friends bring up? That not the girlfriend, the female friend that saw him change, but what else do they talk about in relation to Robert all these years?
Well, I don't really talk to any of them anymore. And it's been years since I have. The girl I just reached out to, because I've been just kind of thinking about him. But my buddy, he just kind of said, like, he was strange. There was something about him that was weird, but he couldn't pinpoint it. Almost like I don't know, almost like Robert didn't want him to see it, or he couldn't see it for whatever reason or something. I don't know, but it's, my buddy I haven't talked to in years and years. And then the other girl that was there, I haven't talked to her in the same amount, if not longer time. So I don't know if they still think. I know my friend that I talked to, I know she still thinks about it because she says that it messed with her for years. And she said she hadn't talked about it in a long time. And then I just kind of got a hold of her out of the blue, and a bunch of stuff came flooding back.
Yeah, and then at one point she's like, I'm just done talking about this.
Mm-hmm. And then maybe an hour went by, and then she was like, what's your number? And then she called me and was like, okay. Like the first thing she said was, all right, what do you remember? And I told her what I remembered, and she was just like, and then some of the things she was bringing up, it kind of came flooding back. Like, she was like, he was really smart. I was like, okay, I remember that. I didn't know. After all these years, I had no idea that he did it for her multiple times, that he made his face change for her multiple times. I had no idea that he was talking to her in her head. That was all new to me. I had no idea. If I knew, I would have mentioned it in Derek's show, but I never mentioned any of that. I had no idea it happened.
But to your best recollection, he never did the telepathy thing with you.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm sure I would remember, but who knows? I mean, this guy was, I don't know. It was just something weird about him, something strange. But if he did, I don't remember it. He never talked to me in my head. I mean, I'm sure I would remember that, but if he was reading my mind, who knows? I remember several times looking at him here and there and just kind of looking at him like, not really giving him the best look, because I'm pretty blunt about things like that. But at the same time, kind of like thinking to myself, like, all right, just kind of trying to weigh him up, so to speak. And he would just look at me with this, just not a grin, not a smirk, nothing, just this face that just told me he knew exactly what I was doing. Like, it's almost like he could give you a look and you'd be like, this guy knows exactly what I'm thinking.
So maybe you were thinking, oh crap, and then that's why he started to grin during the time that he was changing.
I don't know.
Did he have a sense of humor? I mean, was he always normally just talking with you guys and conversing as normal as anyone could, except for obviously noticing that he was very smart?
He might have said something here and there that was funny. I don't remember him really being like the life of the party.
Yeah.
But he was well mannered. He didn't come off as aggressive. He didn't come off as mean. He didn't, but at the same time, he didn't come off as nice. Like, I don't know. That's why my friend asked me, like, do you think he was an angel or a demon or something? Do you think he was something evil? And I'm like, I don't think so. Like, I don't think he was neither, but I can't say for sure. But it was like, it's just weird because there was just, I don't know.
But you definitely think he's still around somewhere?
I do. I think he's still around somewhere, and I think he's the exact same age. I mean, as crazy as that sounds, it's almost like I can feel it. It's almost like something that you're certain of, but you have no way of proving it. It's like a faith in God.
Do you wonder if, because, and I hate to use this word, but the word chosen, do you think that because you and your female friend were quote unquote chosen, I just, for lack of a better word, that's why maybe you have this feeling that he's still around, that you're still connected to him somehow?
Maybe. I don't know. Like, and I'm sorry, but like most of, like, I just don't know. Like, I've had my dad ask me, like, similar questions, and I tell him something, but I don't know.
No, that's okay. It's 3 words that more people need to use, and they don't. No, I appreciate that, and I'm sorry for throwing out so many questions.
I don't know. I mean, ask away, because like with the question with the eating, that threw me for a loop, because like I said, I never really thought about that. Now I do. That's kind of odd.
No, that's really odd, because if you're around a guy for that long and you guys had to eat and drink something at some point, you you'd think the guy would need to do that.
Yeah. I just don't remember seeing him do it. He might have, but I don't. It's like one of those things that I don't remember.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't looking for it at the
Right.
time.
Right.
I wasn't thinking about that. So, I can't say no, he didn't. But I don't know. I wish I was looking for these things.
Well, and after seeing what you did, I mean, I don't blame you for being like, that Robert guy, yeah, I'm just going to be over on this side of the room. I don't know. But you said he had an aura, so maybe he made you feel more comfortable than you should have been after seeing something like that, which should have been horrifying, to be honest.
Yeah, it was like exactly. I mean, it was almost like he could put an energy out there to, I don't know, like to just put you at ease or something. I just don't know. I've never met anybody close to this kid. Like, I mean, it was just so weird how he could just suck you in. I mean, if he was talking to you, you were listening. And you were hanging on every single word. And you didn't ask questions. You didn't think like nothing was thought at the time. It was always after. It was almost like at the time that he's doing things or he's talking, like he has you under control. You can't think, you can't reason, you can't ask questions. But after the fact, you're like, what just happened? It's like waking up from a dream. For the first couple minutes, you remember, and it starts fading away.
And that way, you can never call him out on anything, right?
Maybe.
In some of the stories of the Fae, like it's funny, but fairies, like the Fae, that
I actually been listening to those.
Oh, you have? Yes. Did you listen to some of Pam's stuff?
I listened to all of it. I've been
awesome.
To all of hers. After I listened to one at work, and I'm like, because in the one you guys were talking about, it was one of the later ones.
Yeah.
You guys were talking about her on the previous one, so I looked at the episodes and listened. Hell, I think you talked to her for like 5 hours or something total.
Yeah.
I listened to every bit of it at work, and that's very interesting stuff.
Well, now, what do you think about that in relation to your experience? Because that's something that came to my mind. I'm kind of going, there's some tie-ins there.
I think it's possible. I mean, the only thing that doesn't match is that it was in a rural area.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't, in a remote area in the woods somewhere or anything like that. And the guy interacted with everybody. So if he was something else, he was, I don't know if he was if it would be taking a risk or just really gutsy to show yourself out there like that and hang out for a week.
Yeah, doesn't that make you wonder if there's some kind of a, what is that, a hierarchy, right? Like, is he maybe being punished, or maybe he's high up in the hierarchy, and that way he can toy with more than one person at a time? Because in Pam's case, as you know, it was basically just her, and there was only a couple of times where she's like, I can see it trying to interact with my husband, but he doesn't see them. So that's why the whole Fae glamour thing, it just kind of reminded me of that, because
yeah, it's crazy how you can tie almost everything into that one mythos.
Right. Yeah. Right. Alien abductions. I mean, hauntings, everything. I mean, I think when Pam at some point, she was like, I'm gonna let my dog out to go to the restroom out back. So I have to open the door. But while the door is open and the dog's outside, we're not going to talk about this right now. And then once he comes back in and I shut the door, we can talk about this. And she meant that 100%. So, it's like, don't tell me that she's not going through something, right?
Yeah. I just don't know how she does it. Because, I mean, with this thing, it was, I know you can talk a big game now because I'm not there and, it's not happening in front of me. But if I'm seeing these things every day, eventually I'm going to lose it. I'm going to open my door and it's like, hey.
Screw you, leave me alone. Yeah, right. Yeah, get off my lawn. The hell right do you have?
I'm going to snap.
Yeah.
call the cops, tell them you shot an elf. But,
exactly. Right. I mean, and I've said a lot of
I don't know
times, if it's in your own
like
home,
that.
so not cool. So not cool.
Yeah.
Before I ask kind of my final questions on this story, I mean, do you feel like this has had any effect on your future? After you met Robert, do you feel like there's any tendrils of that that's touched your life?
No, not at all. I've had some really lucky calls, but I'm a God-fearing man, and I choke it up to that.
Yeah.
I was raised Catholic. I've been on over 300 combat patrols, and every single one I took a knee and said the prayer of St. Michael before going out.
300. Wow.
So things like that, I just, if I'm lucky or had a close call, somebody was looking out for me. That's how I look at it. No, I haven't. My interaction with him, I don't think has affected me since, besides, wondering and asking a lot of questions.
Right. Right. And I mean, not that you're going to know, but I just wonder, what was the point of all of that? Why did he do all of that for you and for the female friend?
Right. And when I think about that, I just think that he was messing with us.
Yeah.
I don't think he had a reason. I think he was messing with us. That's kind of like the feeling I get when looking back on it, is that he was doing it for fun.
It's just a being from another wherever. He's like, oh, you're on spring break? Guess what? I'm on spring break too. Right? I mean, how else do you even explain that? Yeah. All right, Nick. So after all of this, what is your best guess on what he is?
I don't know. I've asked that question to myself for years. And the only thing I always go back to is he's something old. It's almost like I feel like he's something old. Really, really old. But that's the best thing that I can come up with. Just like he knows things that we don't. I don't know. I mean, I have no idea.
I mean, he's
Maybe
obviously...
something
Sorry, go ahead.
from another side, or something, like I said, something ancient, or something that's out there and we have no idea that they're even out there because of what they can do. Because he told me, I can't believe you never met someone else like me. So
yeah, that comment is very peculiar, because I mean, for us, we're sitting here talking about it, and I'm stunned because I haven't heard anything like this before. And obviously you've never seen anything since, and you've even done, like you said, you've tried to research. There's nothing else like it. So, and he's like, oh, what do you mean you've never met anyone like me? I mean, is that just another game, or because you're kind of going, really, dude? Because no, I haven't. And all these years later, I've never heard anything like this.
Yeah. Or maybe he was just a really good illusionist, and all the things he said, he was planting thoughts in your head. I don't know. But like I said, this guy was an illusionist, and he's great at it. Because, I mean, I know that there's really good hypnotists and people like that can actually plant thoughts in your head and, mess with you. But I don't see them changing their faces and reading your mind and things like that. So I do not know. I have no answers whatsoever. Wish I did.
Maybe that was just David Copperfield in his younger years, right?
Yeah. Coming back to mess with people.
Yeah. He's like, I am the king. I am the king. Holy cow. That is such a cool story. Okay, so my last question, of course, I will ask you for any final thoughts, and the point of this, of course, of you coming to me and you being willing to be subjected to all my 1,000 questions, and I apologize, was that we see if anyone else has had any experiences, or they're mother's, brother's, cousin's, best friend's sister has something similar, whatever it is, get in contact with me so that I can get in contact with
Or
Nick.
even if there's, you know, an old, you know, theory or, you know, mythos on something similar, you know,
Yes.
legend that
Right.
someone knows of or anything.
Right.
Like because I haven't heard, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a couple people that I would like to hear this, and that is Joshua Cutchin and, of course, Pam, who has experiences like this herself. So I would be interested to see what those two people think. And Timothy Renner, of course. I mean, not to be like, oh, that's FRAY activity. I don't know. I'm just saying that because I know that those guys delve in all of these subjects, right? Just like I do. So,
yeah.
And they would be,
I've got a theory.
yeah.
I'd love to hear it.
Right. Yeah. All right. My final question is, do you feel lucky to have had this experience with Robert?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do. You know, I hear you ask people that all the time. It's a lot harder when someone sees a crazy Bigfoot in the woods or something like that. This wasn't one of those scenarios. But anything like that, yeah. I mean, I know I say it now, but even seeing something crazy in the woods, like, I'd love to, but, you know, it's just something that I'm interested in. So, yeah, I do feel lucky. Not many people I tell believe me, but it's kind of hard to believe. I know there's one other person out there that believes it happened to her. So
yes, she does. That'd be cool to hear her side of it, because I think that you guys' stories together could really, you know, the pieces would come together a lot.
Yeah, maybe she's got some insight that I don't.
Yeah, I can
ask her if she'd be willing to talk to you.
It's worth a shot. I mean, she can be as anonymous can get. I find the story completely, utterly fascinating. So, and if Robert is listening, let's hear from you.
Yeah, I'd love to
right?
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't Robert listen to paranormal shows? Well, yeah,
No, I mean, I feel lucky. Anytime something happens like that. I mean, it's not that it's happened too much. I got a few stories, but nothing as significant as that. But with all of them, you know, just chalk it up to right place at the right time or wrong place at the right time.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely,
Something
I do.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah, after hearing all the different stories and how people react to it and how it affects their lives, which it almost always does in some small way or a big way. Yeah, I do. So, no, thanks for sharing that. I don't remember that from Derek's show. Maybe I missed that episode, but I'm always happy to be surprised, so.
Yeah, that's why I didn't really give you any details. I figured I'd let curiosity kill the cat.
Yeah, and maybe if you've heard a few of my shows, you've heard me say that I purposely do not go and search for other shows if someone has happened to be on another show, which I don't mind, of course, and I'll plug the heck out of any show. I don't mind, but I purposely love to be surprised, and I was tonight. So thanks for that.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, any closing thoughts that I didn't cover as far as this encounter with whatever Robert was?
Nope. I got nothing. I mean, you talk to some people you know, and if they have any good theories or similar experiences, just let me know.
I will. I definitely will. We'll be in touch as far as that goes, because I have a feeling once this gets out, I'll be hearing from a few people. I usually do. So we'll see what happens.
Awesome.
See what the cat drags in, right?
Yep. There you go.
Well, it's totally up to you, of course, but you mentioned in the beginning that that you may have a story from over in Afghanistan, but don't feel like you have to tell that.
Oh, no, if you got time, I'll tell it. It's not as long. It's one of the crazy in the sky stories. But, so yeah, we're deployed. We were infantry, so we were always doing combat patrols, and if we weren't, we were guarding something, or we were always busy. So, I remember, I know it was cold, so I can't remember exactly what month, but it was cold, so it was probably somewhere around, I don't know, between December and February maybe, because I mean, it gets really cold. A lot of people don't realize that. But
yeah, they say that about Arizona and Nevada too, don't they?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, it gets a lot colder.
Yeah.
So I'm the NCOIC, which is the boss at the scene, basically the non-commissioned officer in charge.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one night we were pulling a guard duty in one of the towers. And the way that this base is set up, it's in the middle of the desert. There's nothing around. And there's nothing around anyways, Afghanistan. But your towers, there's 6 towers. I believe there were 6 towers. And they're separated a good couple miles apart. I mean, when you're out there in the dark,
yes,
you're not seeing nothing. You don't see nothing. You can see the base a few miles away because you have to drive out to the tower. That's how far away they are from the base. And we pulled 6-hour shifts. The one we were pulling was from it was midnight to 6 in the morning, I believe. So it's probably, I don't know, maybe halfway through our shift. It's still plenty dark, so yeah, probably about 1 or 2 in the morning, somewhere around there. But you know how when there's lightning, like if you're sitting in your bedroom and you got your windows open, there's a thunderstorm outside and there's lightning, how everything like lights up just for a split second in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this happened in our tower, but it was red. Like it was like lightning happened and it was red. But there was no strike. Like I didn't see a lightning strike. I didn't hear a sound. There was no thunderstorm. It wasn't raining. I saw a lot of the weapons we were working with. We actually used a lot of the tech stuff that they were coming out with. We were actually kind of getting tastes. We got to use a lot of the new stuff that they were testing. It was pretty cool. But I've never seen any weapon that does anything remotely close to that. But my soldier that was with me, it actually talked to him still. We still talk about it. He actually lives here in Arizona. He looked at me and he's, Sergeant, what was that? And I'm like, I don't know. And what's really strange is maybe 30 seconds go by and someone else from another tower calls up. Actually called it up. They said, hey, Tower 4 to the talk, did anybody else see something strange?
Mm.
And my soldier looks at me, he's like, you gonna call it in? I said, hell no, I'm not calling that in. I was like, well, you want to get probed and pried? I was like, no, we didn't see nothing.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not calling it in. And the same thing happened. Like the people who did respond to him were like, no, Tower 3, nothing here. And everybody, I think, had the same idea I did, because I called it like, no, Tower 3 or whatever we were in. Like, nope. But it was really weird because when it happened, it lasted longer than lightning should. It was like if someone took a giant, like God taking a picture with a red flash.
I like that.
It was,
yeah.
And it covered. I mean, it covered everything. It was like from one horizon to the other. It covered everything,
Nice.
And it was unmistakable. I mean, it was dark red.
It was dark red.
But, yeah, dark red, like a blood red.
How many of the 6 towers called in and said, what the heck was that?
Just one. And one tower called in and said, did anybody just see anything strange? And I think there were 6 towers. I want to say 6. And not every tower called back. I think a few, maybe 2 or 3 called back up and said, no activity here, nope, including ours, because I called up.
Yeah.
Because I just kind of wanted to cover our butts and be like, no, we didn't see nothing.
I wonder how many of the 6 saw it, or they were just of the same mindset, like, well, we don't want to be labeled as kooks, so we're going to just say nothing.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I didn't really care about being called a kook. I didn't want to be drug away into the black tents and never seen again.
Oh, the black tents. Do tell.
Oh, no, it's like just figure of speech.
Yeah.
You know the military.
Right.
Even the guys in the military don't know what the military is doing.
No, it's true. It's very compartmentalized, right?
So I didn't want to be like, yeah, we saw something, and then the next thing you know, like everybody who magically saw something is magically gone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, you're discharged now. Excuse me?
Yeah,
What?
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So.
Oh, no, yeah. Oh, yeah, I get it.
I like that. God taking a picture. So he was taking a picture with a big, dark red light. So, but you didn't get a sense that. So I'm trying to picture the tower, and when I think of a tower on a base, I think of something similar to McCarran, like an air traffic control tower, to where there's windows on all sides.
No, this was basically maybe 20 feet up, built out of wood. You walk up wood stairs, you get up in the tower, and basically there's a floor in the tower, and then the walls come up to about your waist, maybe a little bit higher, between your waist and your shoulders. And then there's 4 poles on each corner with a rope. And that's it.
Oh, so no glass, no windows.
No, because if you have to engage...
Oh, right, because if you have to fire, right. I don't know what I'm thinking. Of course, yes, you're on a military base. So, open air...
They were just made out of wood.
Right. And you guys didn't have anything to... I mean, this isn't a situation where you're trying to record activity or anything. It's just if somebody comes on base, you engage, you fire, simple.
Yeah. It's the point of those towers weren't even for the base, because like I said, the base was probably about a mile or 2 away. There's one road that goes through that, one paved road that goes through Afghanistan. It's called Highway 1. And that's where it's loaded with IEDs. It's a horrible place. But that's where a lot of your terrorists will try to smuggle things in and out, because it's literally the only paved road in Afghanistan. So we would have towers situated. I think this tower might have been, and it was still a ways away from the road, probably about 300-400 yards away from the road. So we're monitoring activity on the road. Anything strange, any military-age males come through, driving with their lights off, things like that. Like we put an order out, no farming at night. There's no reason for you to be out there digging a hole at night unless you're up to no good.
Right.
So if you're digging a hole, we're looking for things like that. So and 9 out of 10 times, nothing happens. It's just really cold. So you stand there and shiver for 6 hours.
What if you have to go to the bathroom?
You just walk down the stairs in the tower and go.
Okay. Now, you said there's probably 6 towers, and you said at the beginning, I think I got this right, they were a mile or 2 apart from each other?
Yeah, you couldn't see one tower from the next. If it was night, you couldn't see. Yeah, they were ways apart. I mean, you're on a big stretch of desert.
I mean, that's pretty cool, because as far as you know, at least one other tower saw this light. So that means from a mile or 2 away.
Oh no, every
light
tower
stretched.
had it. They didn't see it. They were lying, or they were asleep.
Really? It was that bright?
Oh, it lit up. I mean, everything. You could look from one side of the horizon and turn around and look all the way there, and it lit up every single thing in sight.
How long did it last?
Like I said, it was longer than lightning. It was probably a good, maybe like 1.5 seconds. I know that don't sound long, but long enough for you to look and be like, "What the hell is that?" And then it's gone. just lit up and gone.
No,
Yeah,
actually,
about
that
one-
is a good count, because I always say in my sighting, I saw them for about a 5 count, and I'm like, that was an eternity, to be honest with you, to see something. So if you actually count out for a second and a half or 2 seconds, that's a good amount of time.
Yeah, that's about how long it was.
Yeah, so that would be longer than a lightning strike for sure.
Yeah, I still talk to my buddy
by
about it.
far.
He's still like, yeah. He's like, that's so weird. He's like, I have no idea what to. I'm like, yeah, weird.
I mean, do you guys have any guesses?
I have no idea. Nothing. I don't know, unless maybe some type of weather phenomenon that's really rare. I mean, I know that they got all kinds of things now that they're finding out what the weather does. You know, you got.
But would it be
fall
dark
lights
red?
and all that crazy stuff, but yeah.
The dark
with it
red
being
thing,
said,
though, is interesting, and I don't think I've ever heard that before.
Maybe something in the atmosphere from weapons being fired or missiles being launched or something, some leftover residue in the atmosphere.
Right.
I have no idea. I mean, that'd be my best guess if I had to guess, is some type of weather phenomenon. But it was. I've never seen nothing like it. Still haven't.
Unless they were testing you guys, it was some kind of a psyop to see how you'd react.
Maybe. Can't put it past the military.
They're like, let's see how our base in the towers react to this, and if they're going to call it in, how are they going to describe it? I mean, I'm not trying to be conspiratorial. I'm just
Might have been.
saying.
Oh no, with the military, it's
Did you guys have
very
any? I'm assuming not, and maybe you can't say. But was there anything nuclear on the base at all, or any massive bombs, like really massive?
not that I knew of. Not
Right.
That I know of.
Right. You know, just
we
that.
had like certain weapons that were basically like a little. They're called Mikliks. Basically, a little missile. They can do some damage, but it's nothing like a bomb. Anything big that we had, we'd have to call the Air Force in to have them do their thing.
Okay, gotcha. That makes sense. I just, the tie-in with UFOs and shutting down nuclear sites and that whole
right.
Yeah, that whole narrative comes to mind. But the whole dark red thing, that's a little different.
It was weird.
Did you feel any different after you got hit with that light?
Nope.
Besides what the hell was that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no difference. No, nothing. Just kind of like, what the hell? Like,
yeah.
There's no noise. I mean.
And you guys didn't get pulled into any room the next day or the day after that and say you're not going to talk about this or what happened or nothing?
Oh, no. I would have liked that because at least that would have explained, like, okay, they know what it was.
Right.
But, no, nothing.
So does that say to you then that that wasn't ours? That they have no idea what that was?
I don't think it was ours. But if it was, they're not gonna, like they're gonna tell us.
Right.
But, yeah, I don't think it was ours just because it didn't seem like a weapon. Like if it was a weapon, we would have heard a blast. So, and there was actually no activity that night. An IED went off on the road, but that was later on during our shift. But even that IED was just tire popper, not nothing too big. But yeah, I mean, no idea. Weird.
What you guys get used to out there is incredible. Like you call it a tire popper, but I mean, maybe if you're in the vehicle after a certain amount of time, you're kind of going, oh, that was no big deal. But those IUDs are no joke, right?
No, they're not fun. I've been to a few of them, but they're not fun. But I mean, you're right. I mean, we get so much training that when it does happen, you don't think, oh man, I just got blown up. Like you think, get through the danger zone. What do I got to do? Where am I at? Where's the enemy? You look. You just automatically do exactly what you're taught. I mean, it is pretty awesome how just repetition and training through that stuff. You just react.
And that's why they call it
And then afterwards, you realize how
post-traumatic.
bad you're hurt.
Yeah, that's why they call it post-traumatic stress disorder, right? Post, after.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you're just in survival mode. I love military movies, and I know they're movies. I realize that, but I'm obsessed with watching what people go through and what becomes the norm for them. But unfortunately for a lot of people, I think that what becomes the norm for them, they come back to quote unquote the normal world. And that's a relative term, of course. But yeah, have you seen the movie
really
with what is it called? Come on, Shannon. Maybe A Man Apart, Shia LaBeouf. Did I get that right? Did you watch that? I think it's called A Man Apart. Dang it. I actually shed some tears in that movie. Let me look it up really quickly. But movies like, I think of, what was I going to ask you about? Oh, have you seen The Hurt Locker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I don't want to downplay anybody, but yeah, that's not how that goes.
It's not. That's what I was going to ask you. Is what do you think about the movie?
It's called EOD, explosive ordnance. Yeah, you ain't gonna catch an EOD guy just walking up to an IED and defusing it.
Okay.
It's suicide wish. No, and that's what's funny too, is because all military guys know. Like, I know I bug my girlfriend because we'll be watching something. I'll be like, nope, or you're out of ammo, or you pick out discrepancies in it.
That would be a good thing to have you around, because I'm always like, is that really how that is? Come on. And I love military movies. And I'm sorry, but I was Googling just now, and it's called Man Down with Shia LaBeouf. And if you have time to watch that, and then let me know what you think about that. But that movie just, holy smokes, that got to me. That was like what happened once he got home. But his mind is still, in combat, and it turned out pretty bad. But anyhow, yeah. No, but
transition is the worst part. But no, that Hurt Locker movie, EOD is awesome. I mean, that's one hell of a job.
Yeah.
But no, they are not walking up to a bomb and just doing their thing with it.
Yeah, they wouldn't allow that scene. I bet you're talking about the same scene. He walks up and he finds a wire, right? And he's like, "Oh crap, this is bad." And then he pulls on the wire, and there's like 6 different bombs or implements or whatever you want to call them coming out of the ground right around his feet, right?
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Not true. No. Yeah.
Now you do get in. I mean, you get in. Everybody does it after you're there for a few months. You get this mentality where you're just like, if today's my day, it's my day. I don't care. Like, it's funny to see the transition from when you first get there and how on edge everybody is and how careful, and then it's almost like there's just this shift and everybody's like, oh, screw it, if it's my time, it's my time.
How long does that take? How long did that take for you?
It's different for everybody. For me, maybe about 3 or 4 months, somewhere there.
That's it?
Because I think a lot of it is you just get so tired, because it's not like we got weekends off. It's not like,
right.
I mean, you're doing this every single day, and sometimes you'll get back from a mission and then something will happen, back suit up, and you're just like, oh my God, like I just got back from an 18-hour mission. And now this guy wants to go blow himself up. So now you got to go back out for another 6 or 7 hours, and you're soaked from sweat. So sometimes you just you wish somebody would just shoot you so you could just lay down and rest.
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
Really,
I don't mean to laugh, but right.
Oh no. I remember wishing that a few times, like, just somebody shoot me so I can just lay down, get flown out of here.
Because for you guys, this isn't like, I mean, if you're a pilot, they're like, okay, well, here's the time that you can fly, and then you're actually not even allowed to be working because you have to get this sleep to do your next shift. Like you've timed, they call it timed out.
Right.
Like you guys don't time out. You just have to suck it the hell up.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, you don't get a break. If something happens and you got to go, you got to go. But, I mean, you get used to it. Like, you get used to, even now, I mean, I don't sleep. I take medicine to help me sleep, and none of it works. But I mean, I can go to bed at I can run fine on 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night. I can operate fine. I'm angry in the mornings, but
aren't we all?
But
get some coffee in you.
You get accustomed to it. You get used to it, and that's another thing about it's just hard to transition back because you get back into civilian life, and it's not. It is a completely different life being in the military. I mean, it's awesome. I miss it.
Okay, and it's interesting that you just said that because before you said that, I was thinking again of the movie The Hurt Locker, and it culminates in him going home, and then, you know, after this dramatic thing, and everyone's like, yay, he made it out, he's home. But guess what? He wants to go back. That's where his heart is. That's all he knows.
If you want to see a really good movie that actually is very realistic and it pinpoints on that exactly is An American Sniper.
Oh my God. Yeah.
That is exactly what it's like. I was watching that with my ex-wife, and she said that she had chills because the look he gets when he's in like a store and somebody walks up behind him. Yeah. And he gets this weird look because he doesn't like people behind him. She said she got chills because she's like, I've seen that look on you. That movie is actually very realistic with transitioning home and how hard it is and what it's like.
That movie really pissed me off.
But I mean, I think me and all my buddies, all my fellow soldiers, most of us are disabled, retired, and we all went through the same thing coming home. For like the first year, you're a drinking wreck.
Yeah.
That's basically the best way to put it.
Yeah.
But it's sad. I mean, I've had, since we've been out, I think 2 of our buddies have killed themselves.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
I mean, it really, it's sad. I mean, it happens all the time.
Yeah. And you know, they don't talk about that stuff much, do they?
Well, now you have to have, like I had to give my guys suicide, but in the military it's looked at different. I mean, I had to give my guys basically a suicide brief every month. You talk to them and, like, you know, is there any problems? How you doing? What? And I mean, it's almost like, especially in the infantry, I mean, you get hurt, it's like suck it up. The infantry is a different life in itself. So I mean, like, I don't want to sound cold or heartless, but with my guys, I'd be like, all right, you didn't kill yourself this month, good job. Like,
holy smokes,
you know, hope to see you back here next month. If you do kill yourself, make it clean. Don't make a mess. People gotta clean it.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's how it is when you're in, because it usually doesn't happen when you're in. The guys do it when they get out, because it's so different and they can't get help. It's hard to get the help that they need. But because while they're in, most of the guys I was with, at least we loved what we did.
I mean, is it close at all to what you see in a movie like The Hurt Locker or others, that there's this pull to go back even once you're home, even though you saw complete horrors? Yeah.
Yeah. I still, and the hardest part is missing your sense of purpose. Because you go to, what it is you're doing something that goes down in history with a group of men that are all doing it at their best. And all of a sudden you're out and you're working the same jobs as everybody else, and you have this missing purpose. And that's the hard thing to get over, because you get out and you're like, all right, I want to be a cop. I want to be a firefighter. I want to do something where I'm making a difference and I'm seeing some action, you know? So I think that's the hardest thing, is just missing that sense of purpose. So, and it's just the uniform. I mean, my girlfriend now, she's in the military, and I tell her, I'm like, you know, do your whole time and retire. I was like, because if you get out, you're going to miss it. Like I miss just putting the uniform on, because you get this sense of pride that you don't get that anywhere else. I mean, like I said, unless you're, you know, a police officer or firefighter or something like that. But, you know, it's a different line of work. Not for everybody, but the guys who do it, I know I'm not the only one who misses that sense of purpose, that you're standing for something bigger.
What about the movie 13 Hours? Do you think that they did justice to that?
13 Hours. Which one was that?
That's the one with the guy that played Jim from The Office. Oh my God, I love him, and I forget his name.
No, I haven't seen that. That's about Benghazi?
It is.
I have not seen that yet.
Yeah, when you get a chance, just watch it and just email me. I would like to know what you think about that, because, yeah, that was another good one. But yeah, American Sniper just pissed me off so bad. Even
That's
one
one
to
of the
this
more
day.
accurate ones I've seen.
Yeah. I mean, not the movie pissed me off, just what happened to him, of course, there at the end. You're just going, oh my God. Goes through all that. Goes through all of that. Then comes home. And then, yeah. So.
Yeah. To go out like that.
Oh my God. But just, yeah, that was one of the few that, you get misty. I just couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. Well, I speak on behalf of all of my listeners when I say thank you for your service, of course.
Oh, thank you.
All right, Nick. Well, I won't keep you any longer. Are there any departing words on either one of your experiences?
No, I got nothing.
I grilled you. I grilled you a lot, and I thank you for being patient with me. So.
Oh no, I love the questions. Different theories or different takes on it, or anything really. I mean, anything and all. I'll take what I can get.
Well, and you know that once this airs, of course, and hopefully the emails and messages will start coming in, that I will keep you in the loop with any information that I get.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it.
All right, Nick. Well, we will be in touch. I thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you. Love what you do.
Thanks, Nick. Have a good night there in Arizona.
All right. You do the same.